How much money do you have currently in your accounts, bank accounts?
Like, I don't know if you're ready for the secret.
Maybe, I don't know.
I was with an old friend recently, and the guy said, "Man, you've really changed." And I'm like, I hope so. Getting in the top 1% of the 1%, bro.
Jordan
oh,
Belfort?
the Jordan.
Yeah.
That's that guy. Okay, yeah. What about it? Poverty is a worldwide problem. Okay, and the poverty mindset starts right here. Study the most successful people on the planet. They leave where they are and go somewhere where they can make it. Why don't you guys promote your country? Why are you giving it away? Okay, you have to promote. You have to promote expansion and bring new people in. I'm not that guy anymore. Today, I'm an equity fund manager. We manage about $4 billion worth of assets, but that's not where I started. I lost my dad when I was 10. I lost my older brother when I was 20. I've lost girlfriends. I've lost businesses. I've lost money. The French and the Italians have this thing about, I am right and you are wrong, and that's the way it is. But in business, you don't want to be right or wrong. You want to be right more often than you're wrong. So, yeah, am I happy? Getting there is one thing, staying there is another thing, and then getting in the top 1% of the 1%, bro, that's a whole nother level.
Bene, benvenuti in questo nuovissimo episodio dell'1% podcast. Oggi abbiamo una grande, super, iper star che per noi è un super 1%, veramente una persona che ammiro, da cui ho appreso tantissime cose, sto apprendendo tantissime cose, il solo e unico Grant Cardone. Welcome, Grant.
Hey, thank you for having me, man. You know, love being on your podcast.
I couldn't wait this interview so much, and I have a lot of questions for you, man. And so I think that the Italian market is waiting for this for a long time. We did it. So one thing that we do in this podcast, Grant, is I let the guest present himself. So I think that you don't need so much presentations, but how do you present yourself in 60 seconds?
Well, today I'm an equity fund manager. We manage about $4 billion worth of assets. We have, 24 companies that we work with, either as partners or co-ventures on. But that's not where I started. I started a small town in Louisiana, an Italian family. Both my parents were from Italy and Sicily, Naples actually, and Sicily. And proud Italian background, and love your country, and love, Italy's one of a kind place, right? So I agreed to do this because I support what you're doing. I know that you're very, very committed to the space. I am extremely committed to helping other people in sales, marketing, real estate investing, finance. So I'm glad to be on your podcast today, and glad that I have something to share with people that I believe can help them regardless of where they live in the world.
You are already doing, man. A lot of Italian people are following you, so they are getting results, I know for sure. And I tried to invite you here with your jet, but you didn't came with the jet. So maybe next time you come to Naples with the jet, and let us know. Let us make a flight with you, right? So let's get started with the first question.
Yeah, look, hey, we go to Italy almost every year. We were in Naples last year. We took a yacht out of Naples and went down to what's the French island there? Corsica.
Corsica, yeah.
Yeah, and then went to Sardinia. So, like, I've always been interested in Italy, the Italian people, your foods, the wines. It's like I can't get enough of it. So we got to definitely meet in person when I get over there. Maybe we come to Rome or Milan and do a big event there.
Man, absolutely, we can do that together. Absolutely, I want to fly on your jet, so you have to come, right? So first question first. You are a genius on marketing, sales, real estate, everything. I mean, you are so genius. But you started with sales, and then you, correct me if I mistake this, and then you expanded for a second skill with marketing, right? Is correct? So, for Italian people,
go.
which is the first skill if you have to choose between sales and marketing, maybe you...
Yeah, if I had to choose between sales and marketing, I would definitely, and I could go back and do it again. This is not what I did when I was coming up. I would learn to be a great marketer. I think that marketing is senior to sales. I think it's more important to be a great marketer than it is a great salesman. To the degree that you can market, it should, when done right, it should make the sale easier. Great marketing and advertising should actually soften up a customer or the marketplace so that it wants your product or service, so that it's calling up saying, hey, how do I get this? When will it be delivered? Can I get 2 of them? Is there any kind of special? That's what the marketing should do. Marketing should create trust with the marketplace because of the frequency and consistency of the messaging, not the messaging itself, by the way.
Yeah.
It's the consistent, all marketing works.
Yeah.
And the goal would be my marketing's so good, I don't really sell anything, I just take an order. Now, if your marketing's not going to be good, then it's almost like this. It's like if your marketing's going to go not be as good, your salespeople have to get better. Yeah. The perfect combination is great marketing and great salespeople.
And you're doing both.
Yeah, I mean, you want to do both, right? But in the ideal world, I don't really want to sell anything. I want to take an order. And so the better my messaging, the more frequent, the more consistent, the more intriguing, but particularly the most consistent and the most frequent marketing is going to beat even better marketing. Then if I could build a great sales team that can handle objections, follow up, be consistent with their follow up and their response to the marketing, then it's going to be a killer combination.
So you are basically saying that the marketing accelerated the sales, right? So you have to be consistent, and so the quantity is preferred to quality of the message, right?
Yeah.
So
I would rather quantity than quality. Some people would disagree with me on this, and I'm not trying to be right. It's only because I don't know how to get to quality. Like I don't know how to get to quality without going through a lot of trial and error. So Jared, who runs our company here, Cardone Training Technologies, we have this conversation all the time, right? And they're like, you know, Mr. Beast talks about he'd rather have one quality post than a bunch of great posts, but I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to get to one quality post without doing a lot of quantity.
Yeah.
To find out what do people actually want. Also, one post, and again, I'm trying to make sense of my own logic here, right? I'm certainly and always willing, unlike some Italians, I am willing to change my mind on anything. Okay, like
You're right,
I know Italians
man.
say, boom, I will not change my mind no matter what. I'm like, okay, well, you know, the most valuable thing a person can do is change their mind as you grow and discover new things. I'm like, okay, I'm going to change my mind. The French and the Italians have this thing about, I am right and you are wrong, and that's the way it is. But in business, you don't want to be right or wrong. You want to be right more often than you're wrong.
Yeah.
And when the market changes, you change. So all I'm saying to you is like, I would rather be consistently and have more quantity than have quality. That doesn't mean I don't want quality, by the way.
Yeah,
okay, I do want quality.
Yeah, and
I want quality, but the way for me to discover quality is through quantity. The ones that don't work, I'm gonna throw away and not do anyway. I'm assuming that people are intelligent enough to say, okay, that didn't work. Nobody liked it. Well, okay, you're going to throw that one away and stick with the one that did work.
Yeah. In Italy, we teach this to our client with the splash method. I invented this name, splash method, because you throw a lot of things on the wall. You see what remain there and what slide down, and you throw a lot of combination again to the wall. So that's great. That's a great concept. And what would you say? Because in Italy, there are a lot of companies that when they sell marketing to them, they have an objection saying to us, answering to us these things. We have limited budget because they do budget at the beginning of the year, and if the budget is like let's say 10% of the whole revenue of the past years, they don't do marketing. What do you say to that?
Yeah, so look, for you, the business owners out there, everybody's got a budget. Everybody only has so much money. But I will tell you this, okay? To the degree that you're willing to spend and commit money, even borrow money for your marketing, all marketing works, okay? The only marketing that doesn't work, the only marketing that will fail is when you invest in it and then quit on it. Okay? Because it is the quantity and the persistency, the frequency and the consistency of the marketing that will determine whether or not the marketing works. So you got to have consistency, frequency, and persistency in the marketing. If you have a great marketing message and you send it out one time and your budget says we can't afford anymore, all you did was warm up the market for the person that follows up on it. It could be your competition, by the way.
In Italy,
so it's a ridiculous thing. Exactly. It's a ridiculous thing that in January you would set a budget. In March, you figure out this messaging that's working. In April, you've dropped the messaging all of March. Let's say you blew through your budget by the end of March and the marketing just started working in April. It's ridiculous that the accounting department in January made a decision back in January about something he didn't know would happen in April. And now they're going to stop because of some idea that some BS meeting you had where an accounting person decided we can only spend X dollars. And it just started to work on April 5th or April 1st. Yeah. That's April Fool's Day over here in America. So it's ridiculous, right? Yeah. So what I would tell somebody is that's great. You went through your budget. Now you're going to quit marketing because you went through your budget. You understand that money is now wasted. There's absolutely 0% chance. You got 1% back there. It's a 0% chance when you quit on marketing that the money you spent will ever have a return. It's gone.
Yeah. And often they ask their accountants or CPAs, and they get a negative response and we want to do marketing, and they still cry and complain about their situation. So it's really weird.
And this is why the small stay small.
Yeah.
Okay. This is a big problem in Italy, by the way. It's happening to your population. It's happened to the whole country. You refuse to promote. Okay, like as much as I love Italy, the thing I watch, I'm like, why don't you guys promote your country? Why are you giving it away? Okay, you have to promote. You have to promote expansion. Okay, and bring new people in. You can't try to keep it to yourself. I mean, look at how Italians have handled their property. I'm going to hold it. I'm going to only pass it on to my kids, and then their kids and their kids. And guess what happened? The kids aren't interested in it anymore. There has to be expansion in the marketing.
Yeah.
And to the degree, America is a marketing machine. We are the best. We are the richest. We are the entrepreneurs. It's just bullshit. It's just marketing, man. And Italy could say the same thing, by the way. We have the most beautiful rolling hills. We have the best sunflowers. We have the best Tuscany, the best Rome, the best Milan, the best everything, dude. Like, we have the best of everything, but you guys don't promote enough. And this is why small businesses stay small. This is why America continues to expand. This is why Europe is failing, okay? Because it refuses to market. And propaganda wins the war.
Yeah.
The number one weapon in all wars is propaganda. The number one weapon in all of business is an unlimited marketing budget. Yeah. And for the accountant, last thing I'll say about this, for the accountant that decides their budget is whatever, $250,000. Look, it's completely ridiculous. Sales should fund the marketing.
Yeah.
So what you should do is you should determine the marketing based on the sales. If it's working, keep spending.
Yeah, that's the
If
budget.
if it's not working, change the message until it does work.
Simple. That's great. Thank you so much for this answer. I agree completely with you. One thing I wanted to ask you, because it seems like you exploded on the market, on the American and world market, like 10 years ago or so, right? What did you change? What changed in your mind, in your business? What's the one thing that made you explode in the market? Ehi, fermati un attimo, so che ti piace il video, fra un attimo riparte, ma se ti piace il video ti piacerà ancora più questa cosa. Salvati le date, 22, 23, 24 novembre 2024, Parma, c'è il nostro super evento Codice 1% live di 3 giorni interi dove ti mostro le 5 P, il processo delle 5 P per supervivere, non sopravvivere, avere un pezzetto di tutte le torte in tutte le aree della vita senza compromesso. Clicca qui sotto e ci vediamo a Parma live dal vivo.
Well, the one thing that changed, it's a great question. The one thing that changed is I grew up from a poor family. My grandfather was a shipbuilder from Naples. My other grandfather was from Sicily, and he was born on the boat and never had papers to live in America. So he basically never had legitimate jobs in America. So these were poor families that came here. And there was scarcity. There was a concept of scarcity and poverty, and we're never going to have anything, and if you get something, hold on to it and save your money. Like, when I shed those ideas and I started spending more money, investing more money in marketing and advertising and brand, and said, I'm just going to keep pushing money at my brand, everything changed for me. Like today, if I knew today, or when I was 25 years old, what I know today, I would spend everything I have on building my brand, my name, my market, my advertising, pushing my products into the marketplace. I wouldn't save any money. I wouldn't have money in retirement. I wouldn't have money in a house. I wouldn't have bought a car. I would literally have taken all the money that I had from 25 to 45, and I would have reinvested all that money back in my brand, my name, and my future.
Oh, that's great.
And I would be 100 times bigger than I am today if I'd have done that.
It's kind of, you described all the things that Italians do. So you are from Italian origins for sure, right? It's not an American, I mean, it's an American thing. This scarcity mindset is an American thing, or is just an Italian thing that you brought, that your parents brought from Italy? Yeah,
no, dude, this is a worldwide problem. Poverty is a worldwide problem, okay? And the poverty mindset starts right here. I'm stuck right here. Like, Jesus left where he lived. Like, if you guys study the most successful people on the planet, they leave where they are and go somewhere where they can make it.
Yeah.
So, like, the people in the Gaza Strip today, if they want to be successful financially, they are going to have to leave the Gaza Strip. Sorry. If you're a young black man in Baltimore today, in an urban, gang-filled neighborhood where you live in a ghetto, dude, you want to get better, you have to leave your neighborhood. And so you cannot stay where you are. Sometimes you have to leave and go where the game is, so that you can then come back and have prosperity to share. But either way, you got to market yourself. You're going to have to market yourself. You're going to have to advertise. Sometimes it's easier to sell to a strange audience than the one that knows you. But what happens is people want to be comfortable. They want to stay where they're at. I got to take care of my grandmother, and I got to take care of my dad, and I got to take care of my sister. Okay, but the truth is you're not able to take care of them because you never changed your mindset. And so the best way to change your mind is to get around other people that have changed their mind.
And that's what you did, right?
I was with an old friend recently, and the guy said, "Man, you've really changed." And I'm like, "I hope so." He wasn't saying it as a compliment, by the way. It was kind of a sideways, yo, you really changed. And I'm like, that's why I left here, bro. I left here to change. Thank you for noticing.
Yeah, that's great. And just for the sake of who is listening to this podcast, how big is your network right now? Because you came from nothing, basically, right?
Yeah, well, we have, I don't know, we have $4 billion worth of real estate, $4.5 billion, probably be $5 billion by the end of the next 45 days.
I say it in Italian, 5 miliardi, ragazzi, 5 miliardi di gestione portfolio
yeah,
patrimonio.
In US dollars, we have, there's 24 companies. One company does $155 million a year in educational products. Our ventures company does about $130 million. So that's 280 between the two of them. There's a health company that's doing $15 million a month. So that's 180 million US dollars a year. And then we have another, 20 companies that do, that we're either a partner or co-partner or sponsor in or supportive, taking some kind of position in. So I don't know, there's billions of dollars. There's $750 million of annual revenue. The ventures business is probably worth a couple $1 billion, and the real estate's worth $5 billion.
Okay, can I ask you a question, Grant? I mean, if you were Italian, I would ask you this question. You won't tell me the answer, but I try to ask you, how much money do you have currently in your accounts, bank accounts? Totally. I mean,
well, let me see. They sent it to me this morning, so I had to look. I know there's $83 million in our real estate operations, for expenses and CapEx. Let's see. Somebody sends me this every morning. There's $75 million credit line in one bank. There's another $83 million in cash $73 million in another account, and $142 million in another one. The reason I'm willing to tell you guys, like to tell you that is because I know what it is. I see it every day.
Yeah. And
it's not a secret. Like it might be a secret to your audience. I'm not bragging. It's no different than me saying I have a black shirt on.
Yeah.
Or I got a watch on. It's my money. It's my money.
Yeah.
I earned the money. It's sitting in a bank. And the IRS knows. The IRS is the Internal Revenue Service. So the government in the United States of America, they know every penny I have. Why wouldn't I tell you?
Yeah.
Or your audience?
Right.
So a lot of people take that as bragging, right? I know people can be like, "Oh, you should never talk about money." Okay, well then don't talk about it. If you don't want to talk about it, don't talk about it.
But they don't have any money. They don't.
Yeah, if you were Coca-Cola, you would have to tell people how much revenue you made.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now I'm not going around. You asked me, so I told you.
Yeah.
There's going to be this many people that hear this interview. Based on the 8 billion people that live on this planet, nobody even knows me. So,
and what do you say to the haters that came up when you talk about money? Because in Italy we're talking about marketing, sales, and things like that. In Italy we have a lot of haters when you talk about money. So how do you manage haters? Because I know that you talk about that a lot. I agree with you because I also created this thing where I see this is me, little me, where I say you see my face, because the more they talk to me, the more they see me. And I agree with you. I mean, when I saw you talking about haters, that's my man. I mean, that's my man. So what do you say about to the Italian people about haters, and what do you say to the Italian haters?
Yeah. Okay, so look, when you become successful, you're going to get criticism. You're going to get, it's going to come. Let me just tell you about the haters, okay? Because I have plenty of them. Number one, it's going to be from your family first. Mm-hmm. It's not going to be from strangers. It's going to be from people that know you, people that you go to their homes, people that you grew up with and went to school with. The first criticism is going to come from the people that actually say they support you. It's the most bizarre thing in the world. When you become successful, for some reason, man, it bothers people that know you and love you. The second thing I'll say about the haters, they're either going to stop you or they're going to inspire you. One of the two. They're going to either like make you feel bad about yourself, and you're going to stuff yourself. Shame on you, by the way. Or they're going to inspire and lift you. I believe that the haters, the people that have criticized me, both internally in my family first, family members first, they can change their mind, by the way, you know. Because what they'll do is they'll say something to my cousin, you know, Grant thinks she's hot shit now, you know, blah, blah, blah. But when they're in front of me, they're like, man, you're really hot shit, man. You know, like they're saying one thing to them and one thing to me. It's the same sentence, but with a different intention.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I understand.
You know, oh, look at Grant showing off in his plane. And then when I fly into my hometown where I grew up, they're like, hey, can I go for a ride on your plane? and so there's that. And then there's your competition. There's people that are threatened by your success. This is a different level of hate now. Then there's those people that don't want you to do well. They really want to hold you down. These are bad people, right? Their intention is to hurt you, harm you, damage your brand. They don't want to see you do well. They are threatened by your success. They believe as you get stronger, they get weaker. Those people should really inspire you, okay? It's going to happen to you. And I can tell you, I know people in the finance world, technology world, in the health business. There's not an industry, athletics, the rappers. I know rappers, they hate each other, dude. Like in the arts. Actors, actresses, producers, directors, like there's not a space in the restaurant business. David Grutman owns a bunch of restaurants here in town. You know, there's other restaurateurs in this town that are extremely threatened by him and don't want him to do well. So that's coming. You guys should actually wish for it. You should be like, I want lots of people hating on me. Because that only means that you became very successful. And that those people should inspire you to do better. It is probably the thing that inspires me more than any other thing is people trying to damage my name or my brand. Or, you know, I've had the most awful things said about me. My daughter came to me one day and said, Papa, there's a man on the internet that says you're a scammer. Or that what was the thing, Sabrina? Somebody came to you and said something, I'm a terrible person or something. Really nasty.
Wow. Even to children. Yeah.
By the way, those people, no, the guy said I was this person said terrible things. Like, okay. Anyway.
So they went to your daughter Instagram account and they were talking to her about you, right?
Yeah. Well, they were doing a video about me.
Wow.
And I'm like, Sabrina, just understand, am I in the interview? Was I in the interview? Were they interviewing me? No, they weren't interviewing you. Okay, they were talking about me.
Yeah. That's an important thing.
Okay.
And talking about your daughter, I just changed topic because this is really interesting. I really admire you for how you grew up your two daughters. I mean, they are great speaker. I was at GrowCon 2 weeks ago. It was great, by the way. And when they spoke in public, they were phenomenal. I mean, how did you do that? Or you made them do that? I mean, it's incredible.
Yeah. Well, I didn't make them do it. I'll tell you, there's a course that both my kids did. It was delivered by my church, the Church of Scientology. I think you guys have one in Milan, Rome. I don't know where the other churches are over there, but I think you have one in Florence maybe. But there's a course called a communication course. Everybody should do this course. It's open to everybody, Catholics, Protestants, Muslims. Anybody can go in there and do this course. It's a course about how to communicate with an audience to make sure the communication gets through to you and that you duplicate the communication. And my kids did that course when they were like, I don't know, 5 or 6 years old.
Wow.
My wife and I have done the course a couple of times. Okay, it basically teaches you what communication is, how to communicate clearly, how to make sure your message was gotten through, how to make sure it was duplicated, how to actually have a communication like you and I are having right now. And whether that's one-on-one or one to thousands, tens of thousands, communication needs to be understood as a system. So that's one thing. I can't take credit for their communication. I do give them the audience to speak to, but they write their own speeches. They've been doing this since you were how old, Sabrina? She's in here right now.
Probably 7.
7. They've been doing their own speeches to audiences since they were 7 years old. And I would highly recommend people do that course, have your kids do the course. Adults should do the course.
Wow, that's great. That's great.
Yeah, because the ability to communicate, like if you can't communicate, you can't market, you can't sell, you can't grow, you can't expand a business, you can't lead, you can't have a marriage, okay? Like you can't actually educate your kids. Like the ability to communicate is probably one of the most important single tools an individual can develop. And it's not even taught in the school system.
Yeah.
At least not here in America.
And is that the first skill you wanted your daughters to learn?
Yeah, absolutely. We homeschool our kids, and at that time we had a nanny in the house, and they're like, Mr. Cardone, what's the most important thing to you? The most important thing to me in our kids' schooling is that our kids know how to communicate with anyone about any topic. Okay, whether they're talking to an astronaut, whether they're talking to somebody in technology or somebody in real estate, the ability for the kid or the adult to be present and receive information that they may not know anything about, by the way, okay, and still be present is like when my kids are with someone, it doesn't matter who they are, and they've been around some pretty important people. They could be around Usher, or they could be around Tyler Perry or Arnold Schwarzenegger or Donald Trump or
Tyson.
And they're going to be present, okay? They're going to be present, fully present, and be able to receive information, because the ability to receive information is communication.
Yeah.
And when I'm receiving and duplicating communication, every time I do that, I'm learning, and I become bigger and bigger and more confident about where on the planet I can go. Look, Gandhi was a great communicator. Jesus was a great communicator. Alexander the Great was a great communicator. Caesar was clearly a great communicator. Like, if you're going to build an empire, you have to be able to communicate.
That's great. And why, this is a question I wanted to ask you, why homeschooling? In 60 seconds, would you explain to Italian people why you choose to homeschool your children?
Well, because I wanted to be able to spend more time with my kids. So when I send the kids, number one, when I send the kids to school from 8 o'clock in the morning until 4 o'clock in the afternoon, I don't get to be with them.
Yeah.
So selfishly, I wanted to be with them. I want to be with my kids and watch them grow up. Number two, I want them to be with me. I think they can learn more from me being with me than some teacher that I don't even know. I don't know the teacher. I don't know what her agenda is. I don't know what's going on in Italy right now, but I know what's going on in America, and it's not good.
Even in Italy. I tell you, it's not
so
good.
The third thing is, I'm worried about the teacher, and I'm worried about the kids. So if my kid is in a class with 30 other kids, 10 of those kids are great. 10 of those kids are probably below great, average. And then there's 10 of them, a third of them, that are problematic. Well, I don't want my kids around the problems, and I don't want them around average. And the top 10, which is probably stretching it, those top 10, it's hard to have a third of the classroom be exceptional people today when Instagram and TikTok and Facebook and with psychiatric medications hitting 1 out of 5 kids in America.
Wow.
The teachers are on the drugs. Dude, we got major problems. So the most important reason I pulled the kids out of school was because I don't want them around the crazies.
Okay. I change topic, Grant. I look at you. You are 66, right? Almost 66.
Yes, sir.
Okay. You look great. How do you do that? I want to be like you at 66. What's the secret, man?
This. I mean, like, I don't know if you're ready for the secret.
Maybe. I don't know.
My church, I tell you what, my church has helped me a lot stay youthful.
Well.
Okay, because when you have losses in life, right? If you've ever seen somebody have a loss, it wears on them. If you've ever seen somebody lose somebody, they're going to actually have grief on them. And if you could get rid of the losses, the memories, the pain, all that comes with it, the weight of a loss in life. People have millions of losses in their lifetime, by the way. They don't have one. They have millions and millions of them. I lost my dad when I was 10. I lost my older brother when I was 20. I've lost girlfriends. I've lost businesses. I've lost money. All these losses, right? And it weighs you down, dude, and it gets heavy. And so what I do is I go to my church, man, and they have technology for processing, getting rid of the loss, literally erasing the loss so that I can now have a future to create on, not a past that I'm stuck in.
Oh, that's great.
And so number one, that's how I stay young, bro. My church helps me a lot, okay? Number two, okay, I always have something to do. Like, I believe work is the greatest youth rejuvenator, particularly if you're winning. You got to win in life, man. If you don't win, you lose. And the third thing that helps me stay young is 10X Health. We own a company called 10X Health. I use all the products, all the supplements, the IVs, and we're expanding that. We're now approved in 47 countries. Italy's one of them.
Yeah, I tried to buy that, but they didn't allow me. It's still young for Italy. Yeah.
We're in the process of scaling that out, and Italy will be one of our target countries.
By the way, you should go and check out the Next Health. Really great system, man. I was really sold. Like one moment, I was sold to buy that, and for me and my wife. So that's great. Just last couple of questions. Really great interview, Grant. Thank you so much for this. Really like quick answers, because I have like a few. When enough will be enough? I mean, you are growing. You are a multi-billionaire. When enough will be enough? This is not my question. This is what Italians would ask you, by the way.
Yeah, so, it's not a fair question. I mean, I know it's a fair question, but it's not something I even ask myself. I've been asked that question 100 times. I have never asked myself that question. So I never think about, okay, when am I done? Ever. I've never, ever even contemplated the idea. Even when you ask me the question, I don't even consider it. I have zero curiosity about when enough is enough. 100 billion, 500 billion. Like, if I get to 100 billion, dude, I guarantee you I'm going to be interested in 500.
Yeah. You fire me, man.
It's not really money. I'm not really thinking about the money. I'm thinking I need the money to do the other things, right? So right now I'm thinking about, hey, how do I have 1.5 million investors? I'm measuring in different things, right? I'm thinking about how do I become a bank or an equity fund manager or a Wall Street guy, not just a sales marketing guy. I'm in transition right now to become something else.
Yeah. So we will see the Grand Cardone Bank, right? In a few years.
Yes, 100%.
That's great.
100%.
That's great. Can't wait. Maybe I will be a customer. And another quick question. I saw your interview with Jordan Belfort. I saw how did you behave, and I like it how you behaved so much. Okay. What was the reason about that behaving? I mean, you went there like a fire horse, right? You went there like a really big, tsunami. And I like that so much. I like that. How did you go there, right? I saw you that you went there like a tsunami, right? And that because it was a competitor?
Look, I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have done that interview. Okay, I didn't want to be there. I don't respect him, and I was disrespectful to him because I don't respect him.
And why did you go there? It was
scheduled. Somebody scheduled it. I happened to be in LA. I went and did it, and I probably should not have done that interview. I mean, just to be completely honest, like. I'm never going to do anything with him. I'm not going to do business with him. Like, it was just a bad decision. And the way I acted on that interview was, it was never going to be understood to his audience because what he's asking, I have no interest in. Like, what are you going to do if the guy says they're not interested? I said, bro, I'm going to build a bigger network. Like I'm not going to try to handle one guy saying no to me. And unfortunately, that didn't get through correctly. Okay.
Yeah.
Bro, I don't need one person to say yes to me anymore. I used to need one person to say yes to me. I used to be a sales guy. I used to be a guy trying to get one person to buy from me. I'm not doing that anymore. I am not going to beg one person to do business with me. I'm going to grow my audience and get the ones to say yes to me that want to say yes to me. Okay? Business is not a sales game only. And I didn't know this when I used to think like Jordan. I used to think very small. Everything was a sale. Everything was an objection. Everything I had to close the guy. I had to overcome the objection. I'm not that guy anymore. We have a very large business. We do $750 million a year in revenue. Okay. Jordan Belfort does not do $750 million in revenue. Never done that in his lifetime. Okay. Like his whole life. So I'm not being hateful. That's the truth. Okay. Yeah. He runs a very small business out of his home. I used to do that. I've done that before. That's not what I'm doing anymore. So.
Gotcha. Yeah, it was a great interview. I liked that so much, by the way. The way
you liked it, yeah. But I didn't like it because I was disrespectful to him. And by the way, I just saw him. I don't know, a couple of months ago, maybe last year, late last year, out. I went and said hello to him. Whatever. I mean, I want the best thing for him. I hope he does well. But we're completely different places. There's nothing me and him ever do together. Okay. And yeah, part of my response to him was just like, I don't want to be you anymore, bro. I don't want to be you. I don't want to be in this. I'm disgusted with this whole idea that I'm going to operate out of my office, out of my home, and have 6 young kids, temporary workers downstairs making phone calls. That's not the businessman I want to be anymore. So that's part of what came in. And I was in transition. I was still transitioning to this next version of Grant.
Yeah, that's great.
So anyway, dude, look, I'm becoming newer versions, better versions of me, hopefully. And
you're a beast, man. You're doing really, really great. You fire me up every day. Last couple questions. Those are my wife's questions. Like the first one is, how happy are you? My wife asked me to ask you.
Yeah, I don't really think about happiness. I'm a 10 today. So, but I don't really think about being happy. I don't have a happy meter. I can't. It's like if you ask me what I weigh today, I'm like, I don't know what I weigh, but I'm fine with it. I mean, I wasn't even thinking about it until you brought it up, my weight, and then I'm like, yeah, I probably could lose 4 or 5 pounds, So yeah, I'm happy, but I don't think about happy. I think about productive. The better question for me is, Grant, how productive are you today?
Yeah,
and so. Because that's kind of what I think about. I'm a producer. I like to produce things. I am a human that wants to do stuff. I don't want to just be. Yeah. I want to do. I like games. I like activity. I Yeah. I'll just tell you, like,
yeah.
One other thing, because me and my kids, my two kids, my wife is with her mother right now, and so I've been home with the kids for a week. Yesterday we were playing 20 questions. And 20 questions is basically, I come up with something and they have to ask me questions until they figure out what I'm thinking of. Dude, like, that makes me so happy, it's unbelievable. Okay?
Yeah.
Like, but it makes me happier when they finally get it. And so, but when that game's over, I want to do something else. Now, what are we going to do now? So, yeah. Am I happy?
It seems so.
Yeah.
I mean, you're the first one that accepted to do this interview with us, and in 3 days you were ready to do that. It was great, man. Really great. Last couple of questions. The last one of my wife's questions are: what would you say to Grant's child, to the child version of Grant? I mean, if you could go in the past and meet yourself when you were a child, what would you do? What would you say?
Hey, let's say I'm 5 or 6 years old, bro. You're doing great. You're going to keep doing great. Think bigger, go bigger. Shed, get rid of all these old, small ideas. Okay? Leave your town. Leave where you live as soon as you can. Okay? I would tell 5-year-old Grant, go to Wall Street. Go meet the people that run this planet. They're on Wall Street. Okay, they're not in D.C. Go to Harvard, Yale, go to one of these big colleges and meet the kids of the Bushes and the Obamas and the Bill Ackmans of the world and the Steve Schwartzmans and the Larry Finks. These people run the universe, bro.
Wow.
And I would say, hey, don't even bother with what you learn in school. I would say learn how to communicate. Stay curious about who you are as a spiritual being. Okay? That you can have anything you want on this planet. Any car, any house, any amount of money, any boat, and it's nothing. But learn who you are, man, spiritually. Okay? Learn what happens next? What's the purpose of life? Where did you come from? Stay curious about these questions that people say you can't know the answer to. Because just because I can't know the answer to it doesn't mean I can't stay curious about it.
And to be curious is like to live, right? It's like to have a life. Because if you are not curious, you are dead, basically, right?
Yeah.
That's great. The last question, great interview, Grant. I really appreciate that you took the time to really speak to the Italian people, the Italian market, even though I think that this is a great interview even for French guys or maybe Spanish guys, our neighbors. Last question that I ask all the time to the guests that come in this podcast: what does to be part of 1% mean to you?
Well, to be part of the 1% means that you have short-wired and put yourself in a position to be a select group of people on the planet. I like that. If I go into a restaurant, I'm like, hey, what's the best thing you have on your menu? What's the best wine, the best pasta, the best dessert? Who's your best cook? If I go to Milan, what's the best restaurant? I don't. Why would I want an average restaurant? And so to be in the 1% means you have achieved a level that 99% of the people on the planet have not achieved, and that took a vision, a commitment, consistency, frequency, persistency to get there. Okay, it tells me a lot about a human being that gets in the 1%. Okay, and by the way, you could have been born in the 1%. My kids are born into the 1%. Now, that doesn't mean they can stay in the 1%. So they have to go grind that out too. They got to decide: are they committed? Are they willing to pay the price? Are they willing to be disciplined over long periods of time to get into the 1%? I know people that got into the 1%, and couldn't stay. So getting there is one thing, staying there is another thing, and then getting in the top 1% of the 1%, bro, that's a whole nother level.
Yeah, and you did that. So that's great, man. So it was a really great interview. I took a lot of notes here in my computer. Thank you so much, Grant. I want to ask you last question. When can I get a ride on your jet? I mean, I love your jet. I want your jet. I want the 1% jet. When can I get a ride? When will you come in Milan to be my guest, man?
Yeah, let's do it, man. I love Milan. I'll tell you a little story. The first time I went to Milan, I flew into Milan. We rented motorcycles in Milan, went to Lake Como, okay?
Yeah.
And then I rode that motorcycle. It was a BMW Cruiser. Took the motorcycle from Milan all the way to Naples.
Wow. And how did you see the streets?
Hey, listen to this. I had never ridden a motorcycle before.
Wow. In Italian streets. Because Italian streets...
In the Italian streets.
Yeah.
In the Italian streets. In the first 30 minutes I was on the motorcycle, I laid it down in Como on those oily streets in the square.
Yeah.
I laid the bike down, and then I hit a bus. I hit the side of a bus and kept it up. And then we went to Milan. And when I get to Milan, I pulled into the hotel and said, take the bike, send it back to Lake Como.
So thank you so much, Grant. It was a really great interview. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, my friend.
And we're gonna explode this interview. We're gonna push that in the market. And thank you so much. The episode was great. For all the people that listening, promote this interview with everyone. Thank you, Grant. See you next time in Milan.
Arrivederci.
Arrivederci. Grazie, Grant. Thank you so much. Ragazzi, super intervista, a parte il mio inglese che può sempre migliorare, ma chi cazzo se ne frega. L'importante è che avete sentito questa intervista, perché qui Gran Cardone è una delle persone americane con cui sono più allineato. Parla di haters, io parlo di haters. Parla di fare, io parlo di fare. Parla di vendita, io parlo di vendita. Chiaramente il format... Noi siamo gli unici in Italia che pubblicano trattative online. Questo format l'abbiamo preso ispirazione da lui, ok? Non lo stile di vendita, ma il format sì. Anche un po' lo stile di vendita, perché è uno dei miei mentori chiaramente sulla vendita, abbiamo studiati tutti. Non quello invece di cui abbiamo parlato nel podcast, ovvero Jordan Belfort non è uno dei miei mentori sulla vendita, ma ne ho tanti altri. Uno di questi è Gran Cardone, bravissimo nella chiusura, bravissimo in tante cose, ha dato tantissime informazioni, mi sono preso un sacco di appunti anche perché l'ho registrata qui. Ragazzi, vi chiedo solo una cosa, vi abbiamo portato Gran Cardone, vi porteremo altre persone come lui, magari più grandi a livello di network, magari più piccole, comunque tutte interessanti. Ragazzi, dovete condividere, me lo dovete condividere questo podcast, questo episodio, perché signore e signori, questo è l'1% podcast. Non esiste in Italia e non esisterà in Europa e nel mondo un podcast così, che dà questi contenuti gratuiti, che tutti i giorni le persone ci scrivono che hanno smesso di fumare, hanno iniziato a fare soldi, hanno iniziato a dimagrire, stare in forma, hanno trovato l'anima gemella, di tutto. Ragazzi, ce lo dovete condividere questo podcast. Mettete mi piace, commentate, mettete le 5 stelle. Ragazzi, ci vediamo nel prossimo episodio.